Hi guys, my name is Dinelle Makosera and welcome back to another informative and entertaining episode of Vibes with D. To those who don't know, Vibes with D is a podcast that focuses on the youths because as youths we are going through a lot. I know you might be going through something and you're just wondering what you're going to do with your life. Do not worry, this is your safe space and I have an amazing guest, as always. So this guest taught me a lot just on the phone, and I've never been so nervous for an interview ever before. I don't remember the last time I've been nervous, but it is because he has been working on radio for 11 years, and then he became a station manager for 2 different radio stations, and not just any radio stations. I'm talking about Power FM, Capital. So when you're talking about radio and you do not mention Leanda Candiero, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
What an intro.
Did you like it? I practiced a lot.
Okay. No, thank you for having me, Dee.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for even agreeing to do this. Are you a celebrity at home?
I'm not even sure if I'm a celebrity in Zimbabwe.
What do you mean you're not sure?
I'm not sure, because I'm not sure.
People know you.
Yes, I'm known. I'm not sure if I'm celebrated.
Okay, prominent people know you.
Okay, but I'm not sure if I'm celebrated.
What do you mean by celebrated?
When you go to a wedding, graduation, people celebrate you. Yeah. So I'm saying, yes, I'm known, but I'm not sure if I'm celebrated. Okay. Yeah.
I get you. But don't you think in most cases, people rarely celebrate the person that's behind the work? Mm-hmm. It's like, for example, if we're talking of radio, people really talk about the person that came up with the script.
Yeah.
They don't really focus on the presenter.
True.
So in this case, let's just say you're a script writer. Would you take that?
I'll take it.
Like you're doing all the work, though.
Yeah. I'll take that.
So you've done radio. You've been behind the mic. Mm-hmm. And you've been a station manager.
Yo.
Which one is your favorite?
I think that being a presenter is a passion. Mm-hmm. It'll never die. If you ask anyone who's been behind the mic for a considerable amount of time, they will tell you that once a broadcaster, always a broadcaster. Mm-hmm. I feel very honored that certain people sit somewhere when I was still with Zim Papers, mm-hmm. and they felt that I should be the one to go and introduce a radio station and lead it in Motari. That was Diamond FM. Okay. That was my first station. I was the station manager, the founding station manager for Diamond FM. And I didn't think I could do it.
Wait.
Yeah.
So you're saying that they chose you to go to Mutare?
Yes. Which was home, actually. I was born and bred in Mutare, so you can imagine the excitement, but also the anxiety that's filled with, I'm taking radio home back to my people. So I took it as an honor, but I was also scared, to be honest, to say, will I be able to live up to what they expect? But as grace had it and God was on my side, Diamond FM, I had wonderful people as a team, and we worked as a family, and up to now I'm still proud of what Diamond FM is achieving. Yeah. Then there was the opportunity to lead Capital, like you alluded to earlier. Yeah. This was 3 years after my Diamond FM escapade, and I did that for 2 years. And then they decided to make me the manager for training and product development, which is what you're talking about. I was now really behind the scenes. My job there was to scout talent and hold auditions, and then once we got the talent, the existing ones and the new ones, my job was to come up with concepts and then make sure that those concepts go on air and make sure that they work. And I left that position in 2023. I ventured into private training. So I was training existing presenters in radio stations. I was also holding my own training sessions for a year and 9 months, I think. Then 2025, in fact, towards the end of 2024, That's where the place where I started, ZBC. They gave me a call and they said there will be an opportunity that will arise very soon to lead Power FM. Would like you to consider it. And so when the interviews were called out for, I did what was necessary and I came for the interviews. And in February, I started as the station manager for Power FM.
Wow.
Yeah, so that has been the journey, if I can try and summarize the journey of my behind the scenes. But of course, I had started my career in 2001 right here at Pocket Hill. And I was 21, 22, I think, yeah. And so my career has actually spanned for close to 24 years now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Half of your life.
Half of my life and the best years of my life.
Yes. So you'd say that radio, being on the mic, is your favorite
Yes.
kind of radio?
Yes.
So you mentioned that you train people
I do.
to be presenters.
I do.
So you can tell if someone is a good or bad presenter from just the first audition.
So the thing is, there's two sides to it. There are people who are born naturally as presenters, and these are the people that you can immediately see, even if they're not at an audition. I can meet someone in the shop. I've done that several times. I've listened to the in-store radios where they announce, and I've gone to the managers and said, "Can I please see the person who's speaking?" I've met people and I've told them, "Look, there's something about you, either TV or radio." And when you do auditions, when someone sits in front of you, immediately what they exude, you can tell that there's something in this person. But then, of course, there are people who have the will to be presenters, who you can train. So, it takes a bit more work to chisel someone into a good presenter. But yes, so there's two sides to it. There are people who are naturally born, put him in front of the microphone, put him in front of the camera, and they will rock. Then there are people who have the passion, but might not have the talent naturally. But you can train them to become presenters, yeah.
All right, I get that. So you worked at Capitalk and at ZBC, which is Zim Papers and ZBC.
Yeah.
What are the differences between both stations?
So obviously, I started my career at ZBC, which is the national broadcaster with TV and radio, yeah. And then Zim Papers is commercial. It's totally commercial. Yeah, it's about the money.
Yes,
it's a stock exchange listed company. So the minute you get there, they're talking figures. Yeah, they're talking figures. So that's where the main difference is. But I would say that for me to be able to do well at Zim Papers, it was because of the training that I got here.
All right.
Yeah. Whether we're talking about presenting, we're talking about administration, we're talking about exposure, talking about networking, it was the national broadcaster ZBC. When I joined, it was 3FM and it became Power FM. Right under our noses, 2004, under Admire Tanerera. So the national broadcaster is responsible for shaping the broadcaster that I then became, because for Zim Papers, I actually got a call from Teach Matthias. He was tasked with searching for talent for the new radio station back in 2012.
Okay.
And so I was amongst some other fantastic broadcasters, Comfort Mbofana, Steve Vickers, the late P.Y. Nzuda, Innocent Chuma. We also had DJ Munya. So we were called to form the core of this new station that was to be launched in 2012, which is Star FM. But for them to be able to call me and the rest of these guys, it had a lot to do with what ZBC had done for us and what ZBC had shaped us to be.
All right.
So the main difference will be that commercial aspect, where we're chasing money with Zim Papers.
Yeah.
Here we're chasing the national mandate.
Yes.
Yeah, which is to inform, entertain. Yeah. So those are the main differences, but they could never have been Leekay on Star FM, Diamond FM, Capitalk, without ZBC.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So it's ZBC first. Considering that she came back.
Yeah, I mean, when my decision to come back obviously had a lot to do with me saying, how do I give back to the place that made me who I am? That was the bigger decision.
Oh.
And also the fact that there was this honor of being given a call to say, we are considering you for that position. But then, of course, there's also the employment.
Obviously,
the security
money
that comes with that. Yeah. So there were lots of considerations, but I think for me what really stands out is being able to come back and also offer what you've gained over the years, to offer it back to the young people who are now on radio, to say, look guys, this is an opportunity. I've enjoyed being on radio. You said I should think of myself as a celebrity. I've traveled, I've networked with big people, small people, influential people. So this is something that I said, let me go back to Power FM and impart a bit of the knowledge on the young people who are rocking radio right now.
All right. Since you've worked with different stations, right? What happens behind the scenes before playing a song on radio?
We could spend a week trying to explain that. But let me say, for someone who wants to understand for the first time, there's blood, sweat, and tears before you hear the 3 hours or the 2 hours or the 4 hours. I mean, if we're doing things correctly.
Okay.
So there's a lot of prep that goes into those shows.
Right.
A lot of people will always ask radio broadcasters, how can you be speaking for 3 hours? It's because people put in a lot of prep. So for all those presenters that people love, whether we're talking about Ndundu, we are talking about Miss Red with ZFM, we're talking about Losto, we're talking about Tilda, whoever we're talking about. If you love them, it really means that these people have put in a lot of work in what they give you. Then there's consistency as well. You cannot listen to Leekay today, the next week is not there, and you start loving him. So Leekay has to put in a lot of work. He has to be consistent. But then there's the connection as well. You need to understand how to connect with your audiences. We've got people who've been on radio, whose names we mentioned today, and people are saying, because probably they failed to connect. And probably because they were not preparing well enough. So there's lots of ingredients that go into the pot before someone can be regarded as a well-known radio presenter. So because we are limited in time, all I can tell you, D, is that radio is hard work.
All right.
Radio becomes even harder because it's non-visual. So you have to learn how to paint pictures with words.
Yeah, and you're convincing someone with only your voice.
Absolutely. So there's things that go into there before you create a name for yourself. Right. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work that goes into it.
So there are some instances where there are some presenters that say, in an Antibudim studio without playing Ja Praise's song, in an Antibudim studio without playing this person's song.
Yeah.
Do they choose their own songs to play? And if there's an artist out there that wants their song to be played on radio, what do they need to do for them to have their songs on radio? So
radio stations are like your households. They've got in-house rules. And they differ from radio station to radio station. A lot of the radio stations today are playlisted. And playlist is a concept that is used by many radio stations where radio presenters do not choose what they play. Like directly. They are part of a committee that chooses songs as they come to the station. Because remember, artists need to, and this is something that you asked me again in the same line. Artists should submit their music to radio stations. Before they submit, they should also get time to understand the radio stations. Radio stations have DNAs. You know, just like you have your DNA, I have my DNA. That's the making of the radio stations. So you have to understand, so to those artists with management, it's the job of the management to understand who the station manager is. What music do they play? Music and who is most likely to play it on their show? Because radio presenters differ. But the first thing is you have to submit. You know, for competitions, they say you have to be in it to win it. So you cannot expect your song to be played because it was playing on YouTube. You understand? Some artists feel that if my song is playing in the combis and it's playing on YouTube or it's playing on Spotify or whatever, then radio stations should come and get my show. Some are lucky enough. If it's really good, the radio stations will look for that. But some are very strict with their process. It has to go through the channels. It's listened to by a listening committee, and then that listening committee says, or fast rotation or low rotation. There's a science to it, but that's the entrance point to getting your show there. Then, like I said, radio stations differ. Some radio stations still allow the identity of a presenter to come out.
Okay.
So we do have the identity of the radio station, which needs to be maintained. But let's say D wants to be branded as a jazz lover. So the program's manager with the station manager, they will decide, let D play at least 2 jazz songs on her show to create her brand, you understand? So they can allow that. But in other radio stations, you play what either the music committee has chosen. Some radio stations have a sole music director. They just have someone, all the music goes through one director. They listen to it, they okay it, or they dump it. Some, I remember going to YFM, they're 2 young people, because YFM is a youth station. 2 young people, club DJs. These are young boys who would eat, drink, sleep music. So the music goes through them. They listen to the music, they are the ones who plays music. The presenter does not have a chance to choose.
Also, these 2 people, they're the ones that have access to playing someone else's song.
These are the people, this is like a gatekeeper.
Okay.
So when you go with your music, it goes through them, they listen and they say, is this music suitable for Power FM? Is this music suitable for our station? Like this is YFM. So they know. And there's no way any of those presenters at the station can ever know more about music than these 2 guys, because their life is music. So you cannot say, they know what's good for the station.
So these people, all right, let me ask as a question. What's your take on people receiving money to play artist songs on radio?
Well, look, we are already talking about the big C thing. We're talking about corruption. Why am I talking about corruption? Remember, corruption is two-sided. The person was paid and the person was received. Where it really becomes wrong is we've got D, who's very talented but has no money. Then you've got Lee, who's semi-talented or not talented at all but has money. When we go to a radio station, my music is bound to be played over yours because you have no money to pay. Then we've got people who do have money, very talented, but are not willing to compromise and pay for their music to go. Who we are compromising there is the most important person in the radio chain. It's the listener. They want to listen to the new Jah Praiser song, but the Jah Praiser with his management is saying, no, we don't pay anyone. Our music is good enough. So if this station A is not going to play our music because we haven't paid, who we are compromising there is the listener. So to cut a long story short, music should never be paid for to be played on music. It should come by merit. Kana, one of the well-known artists, Atazao, the music should not find its way on the radio station. I think Atazao should never season, guys. So if a young person comes through and they're doing better than a well-known artist, give the young person a chance. Don't ask them to pay. And besides, there's a very different way that music is done in Zimbabwe. A lot of the artists need to pay for studio time. It takes a lot for them to record in the studio. They pay for studio time, for production. They also need to pay for their videos. So it's very unfair for me as a station manager to then say, music, you've paid the studio, you've paid for the video, and I ask for extra just to do what I'm supposed to be doing.
Just to do your job.
Yes. So it's a no-no for me.
It's a no-no.
It's a no-no.
So you've never gotten any money to play a song on radio?
I think this is going to go live, right? This is going to go on digital platforms. I can challenge any artist to come to you and say, I need Leekay Mali to play music.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my best response to that.
I love
any artist, I'm not telling that music played because we had given Leekay or the station that he was working for some money. I challenge any artist to say that.
Okay, I like that. So you do watch podcasts. Do you watch podcasts?
I do.
What's your take on podcasts taking over the radio?
Let me stick to the Zimbabwean scenario. Even world over, I don't think that podcasts have necessarily taken over radio. It's a fairly new phenomenon. It's working, and why it works is because podcast basically is content on demand, which is very unlike radio, which is live. If I have a live radio show and people love it, and people are not able to access it between 11 and 12, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's done. But if I love Dee's show, and Dee has packaged it and she's put it on the platforms, I can even go home at midnight and still watch it, which is the biggest advantage that podcasts have over live radio, because radio is mostly live. Yes, you might have 1 or 2 pre-recorded shows, but if it plays on that radio platform, it's done, it's finished.
Yeah.
Unless the radio station decides to then also plant it on their digital platforms. So my comment on podcasts, yes, they've brought a different feel. They've brought different advantages.
Yes.
It has also given a lot of people who could not come into mainstream radio a chance, because look, space is limited on TV stations, on radio stations. Artists will understand this. Space is limited. But then if someone can have the equipment and they can do what they've always dreamt of doing, it means they are now also in the information and broadcasting arena. Where podcasts might be caught wanting is the lack of control. The lack of control.
That's the best part about podcasts.
The lack of control. The lack of control is advantageous sometimes to the person with their idea. They can, their creativity can roam. But sometimes, I'm sure you've seen some podcasts in South Africa, some are being sued. You've seen nasty comments about some podcasts here and abroad, because sometimes people get carried away. There should be rules to this. There should be ethics that should be looked at. So that's where I would say, when people want to consume decent, controlled, well-informed, well-researched, the best place to go would be the conventional radio stations. But of course, I'm not saying podcasts are failing in terms of bringing information, and also, just bringing a variety. They're doing a good job. I'm not sure in Zimbabwe, because of accessibility and also affordability, if we can safely say that podcasts will take over or have taken over radio at the moment. I don't think that's
for now.
Yeah.
In Zimbabwe, no.
Maybe in the future, I'm not sure.
I hope so, since I have a podcast.
Since you are a podcaster.
Since I have a podcast, yeah.
Fantastic.
So as we finish, may you please give us your top 5 best radio personalities?
Wow, you're putting me on the spot.
Yes.
I would have to put Leekay at number 1, Leekay at number 2,
Oh
Leekay at
my
number 3, Leekay at number 4. No, you see, what I've noticed over the years, D, is that maybe because I've been there for a while, this is over 2 decades, I've sat in auditions. I sat for auditions in May of this year, auditions that were done here. And I almost knew 90% of the people who were auditioning, These are people who I did not ask to come, but they just came anyway. So I knew them from my trainings, I knew them from other radio stations. Recently we were at an event, and I knew 90, if not 95% of the presenters were fantastic presenters. I've trained most of them, so it will be unfair for me to mention my top 5. But I would say if you're a presenter, a radio presenter, who takes time to respect the listener, who does research, who connects, who's consistent, and who's got amazing concepts and a good communicator, then you are amongst my top 5.
Great.
Yeah.
Amazing. This is what I don't love about people from radio. They always overthink. You actually thought that Dina was going to take this part of the interview and post it, and I've mentioned only 2 people, and then the hate is going to come on you.
I don't want to be hated. I don't want to be hated.
That was a well thought answer.
Yeah, I don't want to be hated. I don't want them to ask me questions to say, Sam, that I need and listen to 5 minutes.
Because you don't enter the after good. Oh, so you don't see me as a good presenter. Wow.
No. So I already answered you.
Yes.
So look, I love anybody who invests in their talent and their art. Anybody who knows that I'm investing, I'm trying, I'm pushing, I'm being professional, then you are in my top 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for counting me in. Thank you so much for doing this and for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So this is the end of the episode. Do you have anything to say to people that are watching? What should we expect from you?
Well, currently, obviously, I'm in the early stages of making sure that Power FM takes over. I mean, that's the main vision. Power FM has to take over, not only in terms of radio, but also in the digital space.
Okay.
In the event space, we also want to take over. It's a station that's designed for young people. So it's work underway, and we want to make sure that we give a voice to the young people. It has to be distinct, that this is the station for young people. It takes a while to build that kind of brand. It takes a while to make sure that we bring back the young people onto the radio platform. But it will happen. It will happen. So what do I want to say to anybody who's broadcasting is keep pushing your passion. Keep pushing your passion. We have a huge responsibility to inform, to entertain, and to educate. It doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy. And also to yourself, just to say thank you for this opportunity. Well done. Please keep speaking for the young people. At the moment, young people in Zimbabwe are facing things that we didn't face. The onset of the digital platforms, the onset of social media, the onset of these rituals that we're hearing and young people are getting into them, the onset of drug and substances that we never used to know in Zimbabwe. So you have a huge responsibility to take care of the young people. Yeah.
Right.
So well done, and thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you so much.